Alright, so I've seen a lot of people watching this video, and you know, I've seen the two comments on it that say that, you know, that it's nice. So I wanted to update it because I looked back at the video and I saw it was the one that I made with the wave half, which it's like, it was nice and it worked for a good while, like a good 2 weeks. The only thing was that I didn't like was in that video I did not get to show the alignment with the wave. The wave was slightly lower than with the signal right here. So whenever you hold it or have it in your pocket or in your hand, it wasn't exactly level. So it was a little funky. So, you know, when you had the wave half right here, the signal was a little bit higher. I don't know if on the other video it shows in any other angle. I hope it does. But that was one issue that was kind of bothering me because I am a little bit nitpicky / like OCD, if you want to call it that. But I really wanted the multi-tool, you know, face to be level. And I haven't tried it yet with my charge, so I decided to take the charge apart. I was a little hesitant at first because this was the one that it has like spacers in between instead of it just being a single piece like the wave. Speaking of the wave, I ended up making the perfect combo tool out of the signal and the charge parts that was left over. So I was able to upgrade my wave too, which was pretty cool. But for right now, I want to go over this one because it was a little bit of a hassle, you know, taking it apart, having to remember the order of the parts, but I ended up making it work. I even ended up anodizing the titanium, which it's not gonna show that nice. Let me see. Also, I was able to keep the lock function, which I was very happy about, because I think it's very sweet to do that if you're going to use the hammer feature. As you know, hit something, you don't have to worry about it opening. But yeah, I anodized this with a simple little torch. So anybody could do this. A little $20 torch. And then I also wanted to upgrade the blade. The other one was the 420 HC, whatever. The standard blade that comes on the wave. They had this on there, but I did not like it. Whenever I saw that I had the charge and I compared the two, this one's very slicey, very nice, very sweet. So I had to have it on there. And it ended up working perfectly. I didn't have any issues with the plier heads. I was still able to keep the signal pliers in here. Obviously, I was able to keep the same tools. I was thinking of switching the can opener for the micro driver, which you'll see on the wave I did. So I fought a little bit on that, but then I thought it's better on this one because this one has the scissors with it too. So if I was gonna ever do anything precise and small, I figure it would be whenever I'm carrying this one instead of this one. The reason I like the can opener is it's not that useless, because I used it yesterday actually. I made a hole on a belt and it was sharp enough to do that, so you can easily open a can, poke a hole. And it's also got this little cable wire stripper, which is pretty handy if you've ever had to mess with the wire in your car. Like, say you have to cut an old rusty wire and remove the insulation. That's perfect right there for that job. Quick and simple. With this, you could do all that. So I really wanted to update the channel on this because this is a lot better than how I had it with the wave with that last video. So in case anyone wanted to do this, I would suggest the charge, because it's perfect. Like if you look at the center right here with the hammer, if you're very OCD about things looking like wonky or like not level, like this fixes, or this cures that little itch for you. The cool part is right here you can see like the halfway point that the signal is missing. So you see that giant opening of the charge, and it's not uncomfortable in the hand. It actually works kind of like a handle of sorts. So if you need to pummel something, you know, or hammer something, there you go. But centers perfectly with the hammer, so balance is pretty nice. It's able to stand on its own. And like you saw in the beginning, the pocket clip still works on it just fine. So you can carry it like that. Let me see if I can do this. There you go. So yes, you can still use the pocket clip. It doesn't interfere with the hammer at all. And lock still works. And this is a great combo because you get to have the full 1/4 inch bit driver right here. So say you have the little extension, like you have any regular extension from a toolbox, you're able to just put it in there and there you go. You're able to have something with a lot of force. And you got a bottle opener right here, quick and easy. Same thing when it's in your pocket, you just grab it from here, you're able to pull it out. So I think it's a great win all in all, other than, you know, obviously having to pay for a charge. But if this is a cool looking combo Frankenstein and you want to do this little project with a little like anodization, I'd say it's worth it. Because say if you don't, like me, I still have the other half, like the scales of the other half, and I plan on using electrolysis, if that's what it's called. I want to use electricity instead to change the color instead of heat like I did with these, to see if I can get a better result. I really want to bring out the purple that I was able to bring out on this side, and slight blues. I want to bring that to the whole thing. So I plan to do that later on. So look out for that video, hopefully. But with the spare parts that I was able to have from the signal and the charge, I was able to upgrade my wave. So I took the charge serrated edge, and I was able to have the little gut hook knife, whatever you want to call it. So that's an extra little feature right there. And then there's the signal saw, you know, just to have a little contrast of color. And then on this, I switched it out to have the bit driver and the micro bit driver all on one side, just because I feel like that's how it should have came, or it should come, because it looks really nice and it works, you know. If you want a bit, it's going to be all on this side. And then on this side, I got rid of, I can't even remember what was in between. So I wanted to highlight this end because this is where it's very different from a normal wave. I can't remember anymore, but I only have the scissors and the giant flathead because these are the only two that I saw were even worth keeping in the tool. Because if I need a Phillips or small flathead, I have this driver, so, and a really tiny one is right there. The really big one would really be more of a pry bar if I need to pry anything. But as I've learned with my charge, this whole project, both of these originally started because I broke the flathead. Like this piece I broke on the charge. I tried using it as a pry bar and it immediately snapped. I probably put like 2 pounds of force, if you want to even say that. It sucked. So it was just sitting in my drawer for months, or weeks, yeah, maybe a few months. and then I said screw it, let me take the signal apart, because I loved the signal when I did carry it. They got me out of a lot of rough spots. The real highlight feature of this signal would be on my old Yukon. I had the rear glass broken and I had to replace it, and these pliers were able to take off the locking ring that you have to use, or that you use to hold the hinges in of, or to hold the whole glass in, because you slide it to the left and then it just comes off. But there's little locking rings that these specifically were able to not only grip it like hard enough, but actually be able to pull them out. If you've ever had cheap pliers and you've tried using them on a job, or like say something stressful, and you use cheap little pliers and you just catch it slipping or the teeth won't grab, it's annoying. You get even more frustrated and you'll probably throw the pliers, and then you're even more screwed. But these worked amazingly, and then that's whenever I had full confidence in like these Leatherman pliers and like carrying them every day, in terms of like they'll come in use, or they'll come in handy when you need them. So that's what started all this, and that's what gave me faith in the signal / why I took apart the charge. But yes, right here, just the scissor and the flathead, and there is a spacer in between. So there is a little tiny metal ring right there that it actually comes from the other half of the signal. I don't have it with me at the moment, sadly, but it's on the other half of the signal. If you take it apart, or if you ever want to do this, you'll see it. It's going to be on the other half. It looks just like this, and it's going to be in between there and the blade half. So the other end of the signal, right here where this screw is for the signal, it's going to be right underneath. That little spacer works perfectly, as it's the same thickness as one of these little tools. So I was able to squeeze that thing in there, and I obviously hadn't had no issues. There is plenty of friction, so the tool doesn't slide out, but I'm able to pull them out whenever I need to, So it worked out pretty well whenever I was putting this one back together. So it's a cool little tricks I found out with these Leatherman that I just wanted to show everybody, in case people wanted to mod these and were worried about modifying or having to modify anything. This is just a simple taking apart and putting back together. Cool little project if you have specifically these three, which I don't know how common that's gonna be, but usually if you have a Leatherman, you'll probably have another. So this is to anybody that has an obsession with these. This is the cool little combos I was able to configure, and so far I'm really enjoying it. This one's great, especially for the scissors, but this one's amazing for the hammer end and the simplicity of it, plus the looks. I love the burnt titanium. But hopefully this helps anybody that wants to do this, or gives them inspiration to try it out. My next one I would want to do the super tool, or like the surge. Those giant ones look like it would be a lot more fun. So stick out for those.